Hello friends, welcome to Savannah Knits. This is my knitting podcast where I talk all about the things that I'm knitting that are bringing me joy. My name is Savannah and I live in Utah in the United States with my husband and our two little boys, and I like to knit and read in my spare time. I also like to ask a question of you, the viewer, so I can get to know you guys better. So because Christmas is next week, I want to know if you gift knit, and if so, what you gift knitted this year and who it's going to. I have already mentioned my gift knitting on my earlier podcast. You can check those out if you would like, but I always find it interesting if people gift knit or not. Today we have a pretty brief update because I only have 2 works in progress and I don't have any finished objects or any acquisitions. So it's just a little bit of a catch up, and I also realized I was knitting the other night and listening to the Wicked soundtrack, as one does, and I realized that both of my whips are Wicked themed in their colors, so I thought that was really fun. So I thought it's just a Wicked themed whip party today. So we're gonna go through those. And then I also wanted to go through my winter plans with you guys, my winter knitting plans. I don't want to go too into depth though, because I am planning on making a 2025 planning video where I talk about my Make 9 for 2025 and all of the things that I will be knitting that year. And a lot of my plans for winter will be on that video as well, but because I'm not filming that for a couple of weeks, I thought I would briefly mention what my plans are for this winter season. So we'll briefly go over that at the end, but other than that, that's all we've got today. So grab something to work on or something to snack or drink, and let's get into it. My first work in progress I want to show you is the Hibernate Pullover by Amy Sher, and I am knitting it out of Capella Luna Fibers, Simple DK in Fairy. Do you see what I mean about the Wicked colors? This could be an alphabet sweater, right? Green. And because I'm listening to the soundtrack so often while making this sweater, I'm associating Wicked with this sweater, which makes it so much fun. And I've seen Wicked twice in theaters now, and I've been working on this sweater during those times. So not at the theater, but yeah, this is what I have. Last time, this was my stitch marker for last time. It was up there. I hadn't even joined the fronts yet for the v-neck, but now I have finished the whole body. This has been flying off my needles, and I think it's because of a couple things. First, we were all sick again, which is why I sound a little bit like I have a lower voice. So I had a lot of knitting time while we had a lot of TV relaxing time. And then I haven't knit something in plain stockinette in the round in a long time. And my last project, the port jacket, had a very woolly yarn that had a lot of fibers coming off of it. And this is a superwash yarn that doesn't have any fibers coming off of it. And I'm just holding it single. So I feel like I can knit so fast on this, because it's just one strand in the round, stockinette, just the basic knitting, and I'm really enjoying that. I am working this on 4mm needles, and I'm using 3mm needles for the ribbing. It's a 2x2 rib, 4 inches of it at the bottom. I am happy with the length. I think it will grow a little bit because it is superwash, so I'm kind of honestly hoping it will grow because it seems a little bit short, but if it ends up being this length, that's okay too. I feel like it's the shortest I would want it to be, so if it grows, fine. If it doesn't, that's okay too. I have put the stitches back on my needles for this sleeve. I just need to pick up under the underarm and join the yarn and start working on the sleeve. And then the pattern order for this says you finish the body, work both sleeves, and then you do a mid-project block before you do the 2x2 ribbing for the collar of the v-neck. And I'm not exactly sure why. She doesn't mention in the pattern why you would do that, and I'm assuming it's because you want the project to be its final length so that you know how many stitches to pick up around the neckline so that that collar can lay flat. But I wanted to ask you guys if you had ever done that before with your v-neck sweaters, if you have done a mid-project block and if that helped, or maybe what the reason for that could be. I was also thinking maybe it would just be easier to tell how many stitches to pick up if this edge was flat, because right now it is pretty rolled. So yeah, I'm not sure why, and I'm kind of a little nervous to do that, but I'm just gonna trust the pattern and do that mid-project block. But it also means that this sweater probably won't be done for Christmas, which I was kind of hoping it would be because it is such a beautiful green and it does remind me of Christmas, that Christmas green. But I don't think I can get both sleeves done, block it, have it dried enough to do the collar, and then block it again, because I would need to block it with the collar done. There's no way I could get that done in a week. So, but that's okay. It's just an arbitrary deadline that I set for myself that I don't need to fulfill or anything like that. And I can always wear it for next Christmas. But yeah, I wanted to open it up to you guys to see if you had any idea why that would be a thing. Is it really just so that your gauge can be like in its final post-blocking gauge so that you can pick up stitches better? Make sure the collar doesn't flare out, or I don't know, pucker or anything like that. I'm still learning as a knitter, as you can tell. I also love how this yarn is turning out. I thought it would be more of a tonal, because with this yarn it really does look like the same color of green. And as I'm knitting it up, I am alternating skeins because it is a hand-dyed yarn. I feel like it is lightly variegated. There are definitely some dark and light spots of green throughout, and I am loving that. I love how much depth it adds to the color, and it adds just a little bit of uniqueness. It's not just a flat plain green sweater. It has some personality to it. There are definitely some lighter spots in the front as well. I'm loving how this is working up. I'm loving working on it. I love the fit of it so far. I am enjoying the process very, very much. So we'll see how much of this I get done in the next week. It would be amazing to get these sleeves done, and then I can block it, and then yeah, figure out the collar and all of that good stuff. So that is my Hibernate Pullover by Amy Sher. My second work in progress is also kind of wicked colors. I am making some basic socks, and I am using Ruby and Rose's Soft Rose, I think is the base, and it is this Christmas Gumdrops colorway. Green and pink. How did I not put this together that this is also Wicked themed until like this week? I should have guessed that when it came. Obviously she didn't dye this after Wicked, it's after Christmas Gumdrops, but can you think of a more perfect Wicked colorway? I even feel like it's not the exact green of Alphaba, but I feel like it could be Glinda at Shiz maybe, because Shiz has some of these colors as well. Anyways, I'll stop showing the skein. I'm just really excited about the theme I have going on here. So I have finished one sock. I haven't blocked it, so it's a bit wonky, but here's the first sock. I really love the colors, the pink and the dark greens and the light greens. It looks so good. And these fit so well. So size 64, but looser knitting is now my new size of socks, and I'm really happy I finally figured that out. I did 15 rows of 2x2 ribbing, a 4-inch leg, and a heel flap and gusset. And on the second sock, I am almost done with the leg. I think I have like half a row left to do. My magic loop needles are all tangled with the yarn. Here we go. So yeah, there's my leg so far, and I will do the heel. I haven't worked on these as much because we've mostly been upstairs watching TV as we've all been sick. So I usually leave this for downstairs knitting or car knitting. So that's why I haven't worked on these as much, but really enjoying them. Again, I set another arbitrary date in my head of it would be great if I could finish these by Christmas and then have these Christmas socks to wear on the day. And I don't want to stress myself out, so I'm trying not to hold myself to that deadline, but I still kind of really want to make it. But I think that means that I am going to need to work on my socks more than my Hibernate Pullover. And I don't know if I can do that because I'm so excited about my Hibernate Pullover. It's really hard when you have two projects that you're so excited about and you both want them to be done quickly. It's hard for me to choose which one to work on, which is why I don't think I would be good at having multiple works in progress. I like having two of a garment and then a sock because socks are obviously more portable and a lot more mindless than a garment usually is. So that works out for me, but I don't think I could have more than two because I have a hard time choosing which one to work on, especially right now. But yeah, these socks are just making me happy ever since I made the connection that they kind of look like Wicked. I'm sorry if you're not into Wicked and this is annoying, but as you can tell, I'm a Wicked fan. And I even wore this sweater to one of the times. So one of the times I wore I call it my Forest Reader sweater. It's a petite knit pattern. I think it's the melange sweater. That one is also made out of Capella Luna fibers, Simple DK in Capilano Bridge, I think. I wore that one day for alphabet representation to the theater, and then the next time I saw it, I wore this one, which was kind of my Glinda sweater, which this is my Doppio sweater that I made out of Madeline Tosh Merino Light in Kauai, Cascade Fingering in Peony, I think, and then Treehouse Knits Mohair in It's Casual Day. I am very proud of myself that I remember those three. I haven't thought about those yarns in a long time. So anyways, let's move on from the Wicked stuff in case you're not a fan, and let's go into some winter plans that I have. So obviously the Hibernate Pullover and those socks are part of my winter plans. I count December as part of winter. So I want to finish those two for sure. And then I also want to make the Arctic Light sweater by Veronica Lindberg of Kutovakika. And I have wanted to make this sweater since I first started knitting. I actually started it last year in November, and I didn't like my yarn choice. I had a gray yarn and then a white really cheap mohair, and I didn't like how it was turning out. And then I made a mistake on the chart and I was kind of frustrated, and I thought, you know, this is not the time to make this pattern. When I make this pattern, I want my yarn choice to be perfect. I want to be confident in the decisions that I made about the yarn, and I want to be able to enjoy the process. And I knew that I could have figured it out, and I could have frogged or gone back and figured out the mistake, or just move on and no one would really notice. But I also had the thought of, if I come back to this in a year with yarn that I really love, and after having a year of more progress as a knitter, it might be a more enjoyable experience. And I'm so glad I did, because I feel like now I have done so much more chart knitting in the past year that I'm very comfortable with it now, and I really enjoy chart knitting. I found a method that works great. I usually print out the chart, put it in a screen protector, and then use reading tabs that you can like put in books, like study material tabs, and I will put the tab on the row of the chart that I'm on and then just move that sticky tab as I move through the chart, and that method works really well for me. So I'm now at a point where I feel like I can make this sweater and really enjoy the process. And I'm also using yarn that I'm getting for Christmas, so I don't have it with me yet, but I'm using Drops Lima and Drops Kid Silk, both in the color Chalk, and I really love that combination. I wanted the similar colors to Veronica Lindbergh's version, and she uses a Sadness Garn yarn that is also the name Chalk, so I'm really just kind of using a Drops as a cheaper version, but using it in a similar color. This will also be my first time working in Drops Kid Silk, so I'm very excited to see how that goes. I only have one mohair sweater, and it's this one, and I really love it. I don't think I want every sweater I make in mohair, especially because it does add more expense, but I am very excited to have this beautiful cable sweater, but have it be a little bit softened by the mohair. And I'm excited to see how the Drops Kid Silk will work and if I like it. So this one I will be making as soon as the Hibernate Pullover is done. I'm pretty sure I will be making this one next, because I've been waiting for a year and a half to make this sweater, and I absolutely cannot wait. The next thing that I want to make is, I mentioned last week, so I'll just briefly go through it. I want to make the birthday cupcake socks. This is in Charlotte Stone's Joyful Colorwork sock book. I got this yarn for my birthday from my mom. These ones that I will be using for it. So as soon as those Christmas Gumdrop / Wicked socks are done, I will be casting these on. I also thought it would be fun to cast these on while my Hibernate Pullover is blocking between the sleeves and the neck. So after I'm done with the sleeves, I'll block the Hibernate Pullover, and then while that is drying, I think I will go ahead and do the cuff of these socks, because obviously that is not mindless knitting that I can do in the car or while my boys are around. I would rather do that while I'm focused. So I think I will do that while that is drying, and then I will be able to be in the more mindless stage of the rest of the foot. And even this part down here looks pretty easy, so I think that will be my plan for my next sock project. And then I also want to make the Iris. It's just called Iris, but it is a sweater by Trin and Nell. And I have been obsessed with this sweater throughout its entire design process. As soon as I saw Trin and Nell post about this, and she's posting her progress on, you know, making the sweater and designing it and test knitters and everything, I was so excited, so excited. I love, love, love this all over colorwork design. I love the colors of the sample. I love everything about this, and I haven't done an all over colorwork sweater since my Esther, and that one was a bit of a nightmare. I don't recommend that pattern at all. First, because it is not size inclusive, and I have learned my lesson with that, and it's also just a poorly written pattern. But from what I can tell, this pattern seems way more thoughtful. There is a lot of support in the pattern, which I appreciate, and it's so beautiful that it's going to be worth it. It's a fingering weight all over colorwork sweater, so it will probably take me until summer to knit the whole thing, but I want to get started as soon as I can, probably after the Arctic Light sweater. I want to start on this one. I ordered a kit from the same yarn company that the designer used. I think they're called Holstgarn. So I will be using the same colors as the sample photo because I was actually talking to a knitter friend about this, Melody. She's also a watcher. And so shout out to Melody. We were talking about how she really enjoys researching and finding her own colors for colorwork projects and making it unique to her, which I think is wonderful. And I wish I was like that more, but when I see a colorwork sweater, I find that I just want to do the same colors as the designer did most of the time. And it stresses me out to do that research and finding colors that go well together. I think I really want to take a color theory class sometime in the future to become better at doing my own thing with color work, being more creative in that way. But for right now, I'm very happy to just copy the designers and what they choose, or someone that's already knit it, you know, the project pages on Ravelry, seeing what other people did. So I'm not confident enough yet to choose my own colors for this. So I ordered a kit using the same colors and yarn as the designer did. That should be coming soon. I ordered that with some birthday money that I had, so I will definitely show you when that comes. I'm so excited for it to get here. So that will definitely be on my winter plans. Very excited. It also has steeking for the armholes, which I have never done before, and I think even for the neck opening, maybe, not sure. I've never done steeking before, but it's something that I want to try, so I will bring you along every step of the way with that. I'm just very excited for this sweater. I have been craving some color work, and that will definitely fulfill every need for color work for a long time. So those are basically my solid winter plans. Those are the ones I for sure want to cast on this winter. I also have some honorable mentions of sweaters that I would love to get to before I start feeling the urge to knit some summer tees. I usually feel that around March or April, even though it doesn't get super warm here until the end of April or May, sometimes even June. But yeah, so those three are the for sure I want to make, is the Arctic Light, the birthday cupcake socks, and the iris. But my two honorable mentions of sweaters that I would love to get to, but I'm not sure if I will. The first one is the Ebba Pullover by Sari Nordland. I know, I said I wasn't sure about Sari Nordland patterns anymore from the book club cardigan experience. However, I love her designs. I love how classic her designs are, that they will, most of them I feel like will be in fashion for long after you knit them. They're just so classic and so beautiful, and I feel like it could be worth it to go through her patterns again to get this beautiful sweater. So yeah, I might do that again. I would do it with yarn I already have, Drops Lima. This is in light beige. So I actually did have to order more of this yarn, and it's coming in a different dye lot because they didn't have any of this dye lot left, which is a little sad, but that's okay. We'll just alternate skeins, get it in there. It'll be fine. And I feel like this color would be beautiful with that lace, because I love the lace pattern of this sweater, but I like using it in a more rustic brown color to soften the lace, soften the girliness of the lace a little bit. So we'll see if I get to that one. I don't know, because if I am doing a all over cable sweater, Arctic Light, and then I do an all over colorwork sweater with the iris, am I gonna want to do an all over lace with the Ebba? Probably not. I'll have to think about that. The other sweater that I have been wanting to make for a long time, but I keep putting off for some weird reason, is the Alaska sweater by Camille Descoteaux, maybe. It is gorgeous. Love it. I have already mentioned it, I think, in my fall plans. I already have the yarn for it. I would use the Explore Knits and Fibers Tweed DK in Avenor and Drift. So I already have the yarn for it and everything. I don't know why I haven't casted it on. I really, really should. I think I just keep seeing all these newer sweaters coming out, or keep getting new yarn for these sweaters that I've always wanted to make, like the Arctic Light, and the shiny new things always sound more appealing than maybe plans that we've had for longer. But I really, really want to make this. However, if I don't get to this one, I know for a fact that I will make it next fall, because the trees on the sweater could be either spooky trees or winter trees. So I feel like it would be a very fun fall make that I could make it during the fall season for a bit of a spooky vibe, but then still wear it through the winter. So I still have that as backup, but if I am craving more of that plain stockinette raglan beginning, but then end with the color work on the bottom, then I can do this one. So those are my two honorable mentions, is the Ebba Pullover and the Alaska sweater. Okay, that is all for my winter plans. That's all for my whips. A quick media update. I've been watching The Skeleton Crew still, which is a Star Wars series on Disney Plus that is coming out every week. Enjoying it. And then still watching a lot of Vlogmas, which I have also enjoyed a lot. And then I read or finished another Draco Malfoy Hermione fanfiction called The Auction, and I liked it. It was entertaining, but not my favorite fanfiction out there. And let's see, coming up, I will be doing an Everything I Knit in 2024 video, which I'm really excited to make, hopefully end of next week or the very beginning of the next week. So that'll be coming out the end of December at some time. I am still trying to decide how I want to do it, if I just want to show pictures of what I've made or if I want to try everything on and talk to you about it that way. I'm not sure. So I wanted to ask if you had any strong opinions about that, of what you want to see. Are you okay with pictures, or would you really prefer seeing it on in real time? So let me know. I don't want to do a ton of B-roll, so yeah, we'll just have to figure out what works best. This is my first time doing a video like that, so we can always do it different next year. I think that is it. So thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate it, because I know Christmas is busy and there's Vlogmas and so much stuff going on. So if you made it to the end, a huge thank you. Don't forget to subscribe if you have liked this video, and you can also find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Savannah Knits. Feel free to send me a message on Instagram or Ravelry, or send me an email. My email is down below in the description box. I love to hear from you guys, and please leave a comment and tell me about your gift knitting or what you're working on, anything at all. I love to talk to you guys. So I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.